I can't ask you about Old Mutual Nedbank because you are wholly owned by Nedbank, aren't you?
That's correct.
We move swiftly along to SAB announcing that they are looking to buy out Foster's, which is Australia's largest brewer. The stock today up 2 2/3%. You like SAB fundamentally. Is this a good move in terms of corporate activity?
I think it is. I think, sitting in a position where you sort of using South Africa as a base and you sort of looking for expansion and growth in an economic environment that should give you some uptick as we move into 2011. It's a nice strategy moving forward. So it's definitely going to become a very, very M&A activity drawn sort of arena for the next 6 months. And I think this is a nice move for SAB. Just looking at the stock price today, I mean,
215 Rand.
Yeah, it closed, was very strong rally into the auction today. So closed very strong, and I think if you don't have SAB in your portfolio down at that 210 level, it does look quite attractive, and you could possibly add some of those SABs to a portfolio.
Aspen coming out with a trading statement saying that headline earnings per share for the full year will be 25% higher. The stock closed down 1/3%, meaning that it is priced for perfection. That's not a bad result.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you look at the past 18 months, you look at what the share price has done over those 18 months, and it's been a phenomenal return that you would have got out of the share. So, a lot of the activity that you've seen in the share price leading up to these kind of fundamental results is pretty much priced into the stock price at the moment. Results are coming out on the 15th of September, so I am excited and look forward to them. But at this stage, it does seem quite fundamentally full. They've also done that new acquisition with Sigma in Australia. I think that they're buying that.
It was $804 million on the table for Sigma.
Correct.
And it was just for the drugs manufacturing business.
And, just looking at the fundamentals of the Sigma business, I think Aspen have been quite strategic in acquiring that business at the right time, buying it at a time where they really need some sort of a player to come in and step in and take that business out. So they've got it at a nice price, I think, and it sort of sets the stage for some more potential growth moving into the next trading year, 2011 and beyond that. So I still feel bullish on the company at this stage. I'll probably hold it if it's in my portfolio, not really buy it, but fundamentally quite full.
With all this merger and acquisition activity coming to the fore, is it an indication that CEOs out there are starting to see brighter times ahead? Because we've seen a dearth of any corporate activity for some time now. Now we've got BHP Billiton with potash in play. We've obviously got Aspen with Sigma Pharmaceutical, as we mentioned, and then now SAB and Foster's.
Well, look, I agree. I think it's all about timing, and CEOs need to sort of, develop some sort of a forecast into their business model. And looking forward into 2011, looking at where GDP numbers are globally at the moment, it is sort of bottoming out, and I am quite bullish as we move into 2011. I think if you're going to look to grow, and if you are sitting on cash in your balance sheets, this is a nice time to spend it cautiously, and look to expand. So I think that M&A activity is going to start to pick up, and in terms of timing, the next 6 months is definitely going to be a big highlighted area with M&A activity. So yes, use your cash wisely, but again, be very cautious.
I'm surprised that BHP Billiton up only 1%, performing in line with the broader market, when we've got this news out of Australia that the political party championing the mining tax failed to win a clear majority, and that obviously is going to adversely impact that mining tax coming to the fore. Don't you think that BHP could have run harder on that?
Yeah, it's you can argue it, but at the end of the day, a lot of the movement in the BHP share price has actually been driven by the potential acquisition of the potash group at the moment. And, you haven't seen that sort of play out. You have seen potash be quite aggressive and look for higher prices at the moment, and, standing back. So, they could potentially have to spend more money on that acquisition, on the potash acquisition. And, shareholders are a bit cautious at this stage. Obviously, not wanting Billiton to use as less cash as possible for an acquisition of that nature. So, in my mind, that mining tax has sort of taken a second row seating at this point in time, and the focus is more on that potash acquisition.
African Rainbow Minerals has just come out with a trading update saying that full year headline earnings per share will decrease between 785 and 825 cents per share. They've been impacted by the rand strengthening some 16% against the US dollar. African Rainbow Minerals, any thoughts on your front? This news out after market close?
I like African Rainbow Minerals. I think that they've gone through a very tough time. And in terms of your blue chip sort of resource stocks, it's definitely up there as one of my top picks. I think a lot of the bad news and a lot of the fundamental decline that you've seen in a lot of these resource stocks is possibly in the share prices already. And, you know, look, the news is out at the moment. We can see how the share price opens up tomorrow. You know, possibly adopt a bit of a cautious nature, let the news filter into the share price and then look to acquire it if you do see some weakness. But looking forward again, looking at the growth prospects out of the China zone at the moment, I'm still very bullish on it. And I think you can look to acquire a stock like African Rainbow Minerals. Under the 160 level, I personally think that you can buy that stock.
And then, Deryck, very quickly, Kumba, besides Nedbank and Old Mutual, which both rallied, and we know why, Kumba is very close to the top of the top 40, up 4 1/3%. Have we missed anything?
No, well, what happened was you had Kumba going ex-dividend last week. They paid a very nice dividend of about R13.50. Obviously, the stock moving down in line with that, and possibly some long-term shareholders holding on for that dividend and possibly offloading their stock, maybe some institutional selling that saw it reach that 320 level, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday. It picked up off there, and you have seen some buying interest come back into it. And I'm still very bullish on Kumba. I like the stock. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you see it rally back up to that previous high of 375.
Deryck, always